Okay, you lot. So, first things first, right? After this video and maybe one more, I want to address that I'm not gonna be making videos for probably like good 2.5 weeks, right? I'm going on military training and I will only come back on the day of the next patch on the 9th of July. So I will still be covering the new units that come out, the various info that comes out, right? But until then, I won't be making any videos. I'm not quitting, don't worry, right? I still love the game. I'm gonna try to play it while I can still, but there won't be any videos for the next 2 weeks. Now, next up, unfortunately, we have a little bit of disappointing news. And no, don't worry, the game is not dead, right? It's not an end of service announcement. But there was a new article posted today on the Koreans, on a Korean website, right? This is essentially like a news website or whatever, which just reports the regular news, and there was a segment about the Rememento White Shadow, and particularly their company, right? So this is not gonna be like a regular guide video that I do or stuff like that. We're gonna look a bit into this article because I've seen it gaining traction in the Korean Naval forums for the game. And yeah, if we look at the title, Rememento is basically the Memento, right? The Memento Black Storm, more than half of employees recommend to resign. Service uncertain. So this is a translated article, of course, from the Korean language. It's not a long one, but the poet and Kim Jong-un, Black Storm, a new domestic game company that released their subculture mobile game, the Rememento White Shadow, late last year, has implemented a large-scale recommended resignation due to management difficulties, making it unclear whether the service will continue, right? Now, there's no mention about whether the game is like dead or not, right? That won't be mentioned. It's mostly about the inner company workings itself, right? So according to the gaming industry, on the 23rd, basically today as of recording this video, Blackstorm is known to have notified 70 to 80 employees for their resignation that morning. Now, this might not seem bad, but keep in mind that the total number of employees that they have on the Korean side is approximately 110. So yeah, those 70 to 80 employees come out to around 70% of their total workforce. Now, again, we know that there's like a lot of AI stuff happening, all of that, right? So I'm not sure whether this is like a sign that the game is actually closing down or whether they're like shifting focuses with the usual like IT companies designing a lot of the stuff because of like using AI and stuff, right? I feel like if they did start using AI or whatever, it wouldn't be 70%, it would be a bit less, right? Because I don't think 70% of their workforce is like art designers or whatever, right? But yeah, if we continue reading, an anonymous source said after notifying them via messenger in this morning, they called them in one by one and had them sign a letter of recommendation to resign. And they said that the Rememento service would continue for the time being, but it is questionable whether that will be sustainable. So yeah, let's just finish reading the article. I'll give you my thoughts. Blackstorm is a domestic game. The domestic game developer founded in 2021, led by the developers of Netmarble. So yeah, as you know, this is a new company. This is essentially their first ever game, right? So it is somewhat like of an indie company when compared to a lot of the big gacha space games. At the seed stage, it attracted investment from Garena, a larger Southeast Asian game publisher, and in 2023 it received 15 billion won. Don't worry, this is not dollars. If we actually convert the currency, we can see that if we convert to euros, it's around 9.5 million or something like $11 million if we convert to that. So yeah, it is by no means a small investment, right? But yeah. Adium Investment and Korea Investment Partners. Blackstone presented its first work, the Rememento White Shadow, in December last year. For those who don't know, the game did launch in 2024 of December. Basically, it launched in the Korean server, and the current servers that they've added are very recent, right? Especially like the global and Japan servers. The Memento gathered attention for its unique worldview and its based intellectual property and high-quality graphics ahead of its launch, but immediately after launch, it quickly lost users due to various bugs and insufficient convenience, making it difficult to operate. So yeah, for those who don't know, The Korean side of the game is very dead, right? It's not like fully dead, but I would say like 95% of the players are gone. And honestly, if we compare the current state of the game to what it was during launch, I can see why a lot of the Korean players quit, right? It was horrible. Like, let me say, the bugs you've seen in the global version, right? The minor, very minor bugs that you've seen in the global version were a joke compared to what the game was previously, right? There was like no content. The game was fully like unplayable for a few days. So yeah, that was a bit rough, but yeah. That did cause a lot of the Korean players to quit. However, for global, I feel like, at least I felt like they had a very good chance, right? Because a lot of the like game-breaking stuff was already gone. There was, of course, still bugs with the global launch, with the Japan launch, all of that, with launchers not working and stuff. But the game itself, it functioned pretty well, right? Apart from like the launch bugs. But yeah, it was reported that in April the game's business model or profit model was changed in a way that was disadvantageous to users, causing a significant number of the remaining users to leave. So this was drama about patch 1.3 before the global came out, right? But in patch 1.4 they sort of like fixed it. I would say that in a way they even made it better, right? But again, like when you do drastic changes like this, it does cause an uproar, especially in the Korean side of the game. But yeah, that's the whole article. Essentially, the big news here is that it seems like Blackstorm is gonna be losing around 70% of their workforce, which of course, they still have employees, right? If we look at the numbers here, they still have 30 to 40 employees left. And yeah, overall, I don't know. I have some mixed feelings about it because on the bad side, it's obvious that the content, right, the speed of content, the leasing is gonna be much slower if you have that many less employees, right? The good thing, which I feel like could save the game, is the fact that they do have a different publisher, right? Because here's the deal: if you have a different publisher, right, you do have this sort of like a second. I guess a second point of failure, a second point of like a success, right, which you can rely on for a specific market. Because I feel like VNG games, if they do have ownership of this in Southeast Asia regions, they are gonna push a bit more marketing themselves, right? Because even with their Facebook page, which is mostly for like the VNG version, they have been very active there. I heard they are pushing some promotions as well, right? We finally have some marketing. I know there's people coming from like TikTok ads or whatever. So we do have a little bit of marketing, right? Question is how much marketing we have. But yeah, I think that for the global, for the Japan, like for the Korean versions, it is looking a bit rough, right? The game, they didn't announce like end of service or anything like that, but it is looking a little bit rough if they are losing that many employees. Again, who knows whether this is like an optimization in order to reduce the costs and just make sure that maybe they're like able to release content slower, but at least they would be profitable in a way, right? But yeah, we'll see. The game, again, like not the Korean, but the Southeast Asian version hasn't even released yet, so they will definitely not shut down before that even happens, right? Because again, they already have the game, right? They've been working several years on it. They might as well try for a few extra months just to see how it works out with the VNG games version of the Memento, right? And then again, usually with game companies, they do have content prepared in advance, and in their live stream they did say that they have plans up until version 2.2, so which should happen at the end of the year, right? So there's still a good chance that we will get at least a minimum several months of regular content, which most likely is already prepared, right? But after that, we may see a little bit of a slowdown in terms of what they are able to deliver, right? So yeah, again, a little bit more of a negative video this time, but I do want to keep you up to date with all things about the game, not just like the positive, not just like in-game related stuff, but overall the news as well, right? So yeah, let me know what you think about this this article, right? Whether this could be like sort of like a mark towards the end of the game, whether they might be optimizing stuff, right? Because yeah, like overall I'm having a lot of fun, even apart from like making content just off camera, right? Like I'm enjoying the game a lot. I have been enjoying the game since it launched in Korea, and honestly it would be a little bit sad to see it shut down, especially after playing it for over half a year already. But yeah, that's the news that we have currently, right? Hopefully we'll see a bit more positive news towards the global release, and yeah, I'll most likely see you in the next video, probably around July 9th. So yeah, that's about it, and peace.